Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika, and this is Sistas, y'all, okay? Sister! I don't know why that song always come in my mind, but child, this damn episode gave me a headache, okay? I was okay with the introduction, bringing us back in. Episode 1 and 2 was kind of cute for me. I felt like we was getting a little rhythm. I said what I was looking forward to, what I wanted to happen. And then we get here to season 4, episode 14, Money is King. And I'm like, what? I wasn't feeling it, y'all. I wasn't happy. I was getting very annoyed. I started out the episode annoyed with Karen and Aaron in the beginning. They were both annoying me, to be honest. I can't even say it was one over the other. Karen was annoying me because she was being her same usual self. Basically talking about she need time, he doing too much, she gotta think, and don't say this, don't say that, and him with the I'm gonna give you time, I'm not gonna say anything else, but then literally doing what he says that he's not gonna do and then apologizing for it. And I was just over both of them. I'm like, they both could go have a seat as far as I'm concerned at this point, okay? He promises that he's not going to say nothing. He wants to give her this ride home, and she's telling him over and over and over, no, she wants to go on her own. Well, rather back to work. He was going to give her a ride back to work. She's telling him over and over, no, she wants to go on her own. She just wants her space. And he's like, please, just let me give you the ride home, to the point that she just basically ends up giving in anyway. But, says, are you really going to be able to keep your mouth shut and not say anything at all? And he says, yeah. But then it's like, okay, well, you said another 2 words and you said another word and whatever with them, right? I'm honestly over it, because I see it's not going to be no change, and it's just going to continue to be bullcrap with Karen. We have Preston call Danny and say that he wants her to put some things that he left at her house in a box, right? But then he's asking her time, her shift, when she has to be to work. Like, if he don't know, he claims that he has a date, so it wouldn't be tonight that he's going to do it. It would be in the morning, and he's not going to come till 11, since she's saying that she have to be to work at 10. And he basically says a phrase that Zach is always saying, so of course she catches on immediately that he's basically getting this advice and stuff from Zach, which we all already know that. And so then she decides to call up Sabrina to ask for Zach's address. And even though Sabrina says over and over that she cannot give out the address, that would be violating, why don't she just call? And she's like, oh, he's not answering me. She basically violates, the procedures that she's supposed to follow of the bank anyway, and gives the address to her anyway, and then says, don't go there and start no mess and get me in trouble. What exactly do you need to go there for? And she's like, don't worry about it. So of course Danny then goes over there to Zach. And they also mention that they're supposed to be meeting at Andy's house later. And so when Fatima, when they show Fatima, she comes out to talk to Andy, and she talking about something. She was getting her nails and hair done, or she had just finished getting her nails and hair done and was about to watch a movie. She like, what's up, girl? So Andy, of course, is saying, this is not no joking matter, but Fatima's pretty much being calm about it. Like, what can I really do? And she tells her that the judge is not budging, okay? He really has, like, this judge on the lock, where she's not moving or trying to let, Fatima get any kind of bail or anything like that. And Fatima's like, what? So, of course, again, she starts breaking and saying how he needs to get his behind kicked and all that kind of stuff. And, of course, Andy is telling her, like, you can't be saying stuff like that to me. And she's like, well, you're my lawyer. I can say whatever the heck I want, okay? And so Andy is telling her that it does not work like that. And she says, well, have you still not told Zach anything? And she was like, no, I know that he's probably been calling me and calling me and calling me. She was like, you sure you don't want me to tell him anything? She's like, no, because he's like me, okay? He would end up going off, and he just got out of jail, so I don't want, him to end up back in. And so Andy is asking, what the heck did he go to jail for? And she's like, I can't tell you that either. Once all of this gets settled and we see our way through this, then I'll tell you, but I can't tell you right now. Andy does say to her, like, you've always had my back, you've been there for me, you helped me, so I'm going to do everything I can to help you. And I really appreciated her saying that. She also tells her that she's going to try to speak to Robin. He should be getting here soon. And if the talking to Robin doesn't work or help, then she's going to see if she can have the judge removed, right? But we don't know whether that's going to be easy to even do that because a lot of the judges work together. So we have Aaron dropping Karen off, and she just essentially tells him, she's sorry for ever messing with him. She's sorry for sleeping with him. She's sorry for everything. He's like, really, don't say that. Like, come on. He was like, how is that helping anything by you? You know what I'm saying that to me. And she was like, just the fact that she didn't want to put him, in all of this mess. And so again, she's asking for time. Again, he's saying he gonna give her that time. So now when she walked into the salon, Pam was letting her know, like, four of your clients canceled. So she has their information so that Karen could go ahead and reach out to them. And so she's telling Karen, like, you really been bitchy. You've been doing a lot and going off all the time or whatever the case may be. Are you okay? And Karen is like, oh, you just want to be nosy. You need to mind your business or whatever. She was like, yeah, I have to get bitchy with you sometimes because you be doing the most and this, that, and the third. And it's like, I get it. Yeah, Pam does do a lot sometimes, and we do know her for being nosy. But I think she really was trying to be sincere. And I think that's a bad look for Karen to be standing there in the middle of her salon going off in front of every damn body because they ain't gonna want to come get their hair done. I know with me, I'm like, anybody with any type of bad energy, I don't want you touching my hair. I don't want you making my food. So I don't know about that. It's not a good look for your business, Karen. And then when she's walking away and Pam is like, I'm tired of getting yelled at, all crazy every day minute. She basically comes back like, what you said? That's what I thought, or whatever the case may be. So I was like, I don't know. We have Gary called Hayden to see if Robin is back, and he's over here like, who? And he's like, don't play stupid with me. He was like, daggone Robin, like, in other words, the deal we made, what you're supposed to be looking out for and what you're supposed to let me know. So he was like, well, no, not that I know of. He was like, why would he be here when he's at, the main office in England? I don't know nothing about him coming back, and or London, whatever. And so he basically was like, well, as far as Andi is saying he's supposed to be back. So he's like, oh, I should have known it. Yeah, she's lying. She was just basically making that up. Basically taking that as a confirmation that he feels like this is something she just still trying to lie about to, basically make him jealous. And so he's like, basically they fishing from stuff from each other because then, he starts to tell Gary how he got, Fatima arrested. Like this is some badge of honor. Excuse me. And Gary is like, oh, does Zach know? And he's like, I don't know, but he probably will know soon or whatever the case may be. And so Jake walks in at that minute, and he's over here in the conversation, and he's like, what happened with Fatima? And he tells him, and Jake's response too is like, does Zach know? And he's like, I don't know. So we also see that Gary is really fishing hard to find out what's going on with Zach and this money and, the whole SEC thing or whatever. And Jake basically lies, and says, well, from what I see, Zach knows, about these numbers. I think he actually just really lucked up. He's really good with numbers. I was surprised to find out about this for myself. And he was like, I don't think he's going to have any issues with the SEC. So Gary over here talking about, oh, that's interesting. And it got to be something. And, I guess if it's anything, then the SEC will find it. And he's like, okay, well, basically he's done for the day, and can Jake handle the rest? And Jake says, yeah. And when Gary leaves, Jake basically go ahead and call Zach and leave him a message like, you need to call me immediately. And so, we have Hayden stopping Andi in the damn hallway because he just trifling, and that's what he got to do. And, he over here basically, throwing it in her face about Robin. She was like, excuse me, what you said? Also saying, oh, you tried to go and get your girl out, but you ain't going to be able to get her out, okay? I got that locked down. You tried to reach out to the judge and ain't nothing happening with that. He also was like, how is Zach feeling now, whatever. And she tells him that he's jealous, okay, and that he's a little man. And then she was like, matter of fact, we could just scratch that whole man part off because, You know what I'm saying? You ain't a man if you doing something like that. And so he's basically lets her know that he's still gonna be going to talk to the partners, and he makes it seem like, oh, who's robbing and what is he supposed to do? Because remember, not even Andi knew that he was in charge until he told him. So I think Hayden is stepping, you know what I'm saying, further than he his reaches, okay? And he basically insinuates, because Andi was like, well, if they get rid of Fatima, then they would lose me too, okay? I bring in a lot more money and a lot more, you know what I'm saying, stuff than you do. So I don't think you want to go up against me, okay? Not in that area. And she basically says money is king, which was the name of the episode. And you know, you have Danny come just walking in Zach's house or whatever, and he's like, excuse you, you know what I'm saying, knock on the door. And she was like, oh, well, all the times that you just popped up at my house or whatever the case may be. And he was like, yeah, okay, I'll give you that, you right, but I did used to knock, okay, and when you told me to leave, I left. And she was like, yeah, well, I used to have to go through some things to get your behind out, but eventually you did. And he tells her that Rodeo, you know what I'm saying, used to tell him it was okay to stay. So nonetheless, she claims that she's there to talk to him about two things. She's like, first, I want to make sure that you didn't do anything illegal, because we did have this lady that was coming around looking for you or whatever the case may be, that was a cop. And two, with this whole Preston thing, you know, have you been hooking him up? And he just continuously keeps telling her over and over and over, like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't have anything to do with that. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, you want to play that game. She was like, you know, this basically has your fingerprints all over it. I know how you talk. I lived with you. I've been friends with you for a long time. So I know certain phrases that you say, and that's basically the same thing that you know, Preston has been doing. So it wasn't hard to put two and two together and realize that he's been getting his stuff from you. And she was like, you know, you're giving him the wrong information after everything that you went through with Karen, you know, and all the mistakes that you made. Now you was able to move on and have all this things or whatever. Why would that be a advice you give him? And I can agree with Danny to a certain degree, that, to, you know, certain degree with that point. I said the same thing last week, that it was weird to me and very off that was the advice he was giving to Preston, whereas Zach is actually in a different place right now. So I do see her point with that. And I also seen his point when he was saying back to her, like, girl, you know you like him, you know you want him, or whatever the case may be. What exactly is the problem? Like, be real with me. Talk to me as your brother. You could tell me. I want to know, because you're pushing him away and you're going to end up losing him. And she basically was like, oh, well, you know, if I lose him, or whatever the case may be. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a big thing. But he was like, you know, that would be a big mistake and you would end up regretting it. Now, the things I didn't like what Danny was saying when she came over there is throwing the whole situation with Karen back in his face again. You know, bringing up, oh, well, you cheated on her and you gave her diseases and you did this and you did that. But at the same time being like, are you sure you really that happy, and you sure you really moved on, and that type of thing. It was like, we've been there and did that and had those conversations already. And Danny was one of the first people to say that she could see how real it was between him and Fatima. So that didn't make sense to me for her to be bringing that stuff back up again. And Zach was basically like, yeah, well, you know, same old thing. He was basically saying it too, like, you bringing that up again. You always got to go to that. He was like, I'm very happy with who I have. You know, I moved on. I've got bigger things going on. I'm in my condo. I'm in my house. I got my money. I got my woman. She makes me happy. I love her. Basically standing his ground and, you know, letting her know. So I was very happy with that. And then after they basically kept going back and forth with that, and he was telling her, like, you know, I am your brother, I love you, I want the best for you at the end of the day. And she talking about, oh, no, you don't love me, and all of that different kind of stuff. And I do like the friendship that Danny and him have. I feel like they call each other out on these stuff, and then they still be like, but I still love you, you know what I mean? And so Danny was trying to tell him to show her around his place, and he was basically like, nah, I'm good, I don't want to show you around, you know, get out of here with your little funky wig on, or whatever the case may be. But he does start to show her around, and he was like, you know, I'm a bitch that got money. And she was like, well, I'm a bitch that got a condo. He's like, yeah, let me show you around my condo. So that part had me laughing, even though I felt like they stretched that scene a little long. And then she basically was saying, well, you know, bitches do get condos too, okay? And so you had, you know, Sabrina counting the money at the bank, and she's telling Maurice how he counts really fast. She can't count as fast as him because, basically he was already done. And, he starts still bringing up Calvin and saying, is she going to call him? Is she going to talk to him? He's mad about the flowers incident. And again, I don't understand why Calvin is still being brought up with Sabrina's concern. In my opinion, that's already done. And then she's saying to him how, Q said he was going to be waiting outside her place, that she did hear him saying that. And he's like, well, girl, he not going to be waiting. And then she brings up, like, do you think he would come back here and try to rob the place again? And he was like, no, he ain't that stupid. He ain't going to come back here and try to rob the same place twice. And she was like, you sure? But then when he thought about it, he was kind of like, I'm not 100% sure. So then he changes his mind and says that he's going to stay and wait with her there. And he basically was like, that he's about to change and put on some sneakers and throw his ponytail back in and all this other stuff. So I'm like, okay, Maurice. And it made me think about it too. Like, how the heck was Q even able to walk up in that bank last week and bring Maurice the flowers that he stole when this is literally the bank that you robbed? Like, huh? Okay. But anyway, so he, like I said he was gonna wait and change or whatever the case may be. And so finally we seeing like Danny already got the tour of Zach's house, and she's telling him that she's really proud of him. He's saying thank you or whatever the case may be. And then she asked him how he feels about the baby, and he's like, I'm not gonna talk to you about this. He was like, pretty much, all this is you being nosy and you wanting to take information back to Karen. And she's like, no, seriously, I just want to know, since everything came out, how are you feeling? She was like, more than likely is your baby, right? And he's like, actually, I don't know that, because she slept with me and Mr. Preacher Man around the same time, so it's a possibility that it could be his too. And she was like, no, well, I feel like it's more of a chance that it would be yours. And she said it was yours, so I believe her, and basically that type of thing. And so she was like, and how was Fatima feeling about it? Because he basically was saying he was good with it. He was like, either way it turned, if it is his, he's gonna be a man and he gonna step up and he gonna take care of it. And so she over here asking about Fatima. He called her out about that, and I'm happy he did. He was like, you already know how Fatima feels about it, because she told y'all how she felt about it at daggone Andy's house, okay? She's cool with it, and she's going to stand by my side, and we going to do what we have to do. And so she was like, you're right, she did say that to us. And she was like, oh, she said that to you too, or whatever the case may be. And he was like, yeah, because we have an honest, open relationship, and she tells me everything. So I really didn't get the point of that. Where Danny was concerned, she started annoying me too, as far as that part goes. But I was like, okay, girl. And then she just kept telling him, like, watch what you saying to Preston. If anything, give him better advice. Don't be giving him advice to go out here and date other black women. Give him advice for him to read, James Baldwin or Malcolm X or whatever. And so he was like, well, Malcolm X wasn't a blonde. And she was like, yeah, he was a redhead or whatever. And she went on about her business. But I'm like, Danny, girl, at the end of the day, you've been playing games with Preston. You was the one that broke it off with Preston. I honestly thought that relationship was already dead and gone. I don't know what's the point of either one of y'all playing games with each other anymore. It just seems like real kid stuff and really a waste of time. And, maybe you need to listen to some of that advice that you got so much for daggone, Zach, and stop being so much in Zach's daggone business and focus on your own business, honey. Put your energy into that and figure out what the heck you doing. So this part really annoyed my nerves, y'all, because y'all should know by now that I cannot stand Q behind. I don't see the point of him. I don't need to see him, right? And so Maurice come walking in, and Calvin behind got the nerve to be sitting here laughing, talking, holding a whole conversation with Q. They got dinner all on the daggone table eating. So Maurice is saying the same thing as me. Like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is this? And, Calvin got the nerve to be talking about, oh, you need to hear his story and you need to know his story. He was sitting here telling me his story. And Maurice is basically like, no, I don't. And he was like, what, did he get you too? You gave him some too? He was like, because that's what got me when I got some of it or whatever the case may be. And he's like, no, stop being silly. And so Maurice is telling him, Q is telling Maurice how he made his favorite. And he was like, you don't even know what my favorite is. And he was like, oh, smothered pork chops, mac and cheese, and collard greens or whatever whatever. That did sound good though, I ain't gonna lie. And so Maurice like, oh, that is my favorite. He was like, I know it is. He was like, I have it waiting for you, in the oven. And so he was like, okay, well, I'm saying, I might as well go ahead and have a plate or whatever the case may be. And so he gets up to make him the daggone plate, y'all. And when he sit back down, Calvin talking about go ahead, tell him the story. Tell him what you told me. And we start to get this daggone story about Q being 3 years old and his mother's boyfriend. I already knew where the heck it was going, okay? And how he was coming in and out of the bedroom for all these years or whatever the case may be while his mother would be working, and he never knew that it was anything wrong with it. And then when he realized what was wrong with it, he basically had told his mother. And so I'm like, I get it. I know stuff like this happens, and this is too many people's experiences. But at this point, I don't care about Q's story and what he went through. I just don't. I don't care about it. I don't care about him. He has already irritated the heck out of me. He's already did everything negative and horrible to everybody that's involved, from Maurice to Calvin to Sabrina. And the fact that all of a sudden now Calvin's whole attitude has changed, like kumbaya, welcome home, I'm so happy to have you here, and now I want you to live here with me. It's just bonkers to me. It's like, Calvin, you not even in your own place. You staying with Maurice. You doing too daggone much for me. So nonetheless, we finally, the last little freaking minutes, get Zach coming up to this office, right? He's looking for Fatima. He asked the front desk for Fatima. They say she's not there. He then asked for Andi. They like, we gonna call her. Andi come and see that he's standing there. She stopped for a minute or whatever. So he's asking her, where's Fatima? And she over here trying to lie like, oh, she went to run an errand for me. He's like, all day? She was like, yeah. He was like, to the point that she can't answer her phone. She's like, oh, well, I'm not too sure about that, but let's step out. First he asked, was there somewhere that they could talk, and she was going to take him in the office to talk. But then here come freaking Hayden raggedy ass behind. I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse my language. But here he come walking up, and he talking about oh, hi, Zach. I can answer that for you. You know what I'm saying? Just wanting to antagonize him. And he's basically like, yeah, I got her locked up. I got her put away. And so he's like, what? What did he say? What did you say? And so Andi is still trying to get in between them. She trying to push him back. She's trying to tell him, don't do this. This is what he wants you to do. He wants you to end up back in jail. Now, at this point, she's trying to turn him around to the opposite direction and be like, let's go walk outside and talk about this. But you still got freaking Hayden trying to taunt him and trying to be big and bad. He was trying to be in big and bad through this whole episode, really, when you think about it. Really, like my grandmother say, acting like his stuff don't stink, okay? And smelling himself, all right? And so he basically turns and was saying to Zach, like, yeah, I got her locked up and she ain't getting locked up no time soon, and trying to turn it into songs and all this different kind of stuff. And so Zach kept saying, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm calm. He was like, let him say what he's saying, let him explain to me what's going on, or either you hurry up, explain to me going on. And he was like, do you want me to get locked up, or is it him that wants me to get locked up? And so Andi starts to see, that he's getting upset that Fatima was right, because Fatima gave her that warning, like, I don't want him to know because I don't want him to end back up in jail. Yeah, he's calm, cool, and collective, but if he hears something like this, he's going to go off. He definitely have issues where Hayden is concerned, because Andi was saying she had never saw him like that, and then she even turns and was like, well, does he get like that with you? Like, she was trying to insinuate that he would be beating up on Fatima, when it's like, no, girl, okay, it ain't that type of party. And so nonetheless, of course, Zach completely loses his daggone mind. He flips the hell out. He goes charging after Hayden, and Andi could not hold him back. He done flipped his behind down the daggone stairs. And it's like, one part of me is like, no, Zach, don't do that, because the last thing you need to do is end up back in jail again, okay? We do not want that at all, right? And the other part of me is going, whoop that chick, whoop that chick, whoop that chick, because I'm tired of Hayden, okay? I want somebody to tear his behind up. Like, let's not make no mistakes about that. But I don't want, Zach to have to pay the price for it, and I want Fatima out. Like, are we going to have Fatima sitting in here for the whole rest of the season? Okay, Mr. Perry? Let's figure this out, because that's going to be a no from me. All right. And so basically, y'all, that was the episode. I don't even know, y'all. I try to tell y'all from the best of my memory because usually I watch the episode like 3 times, you know what I'm saying, before I do my reviews. But, the devil was being busy and my daggone DVR was some kind of way messed up, knocked out, not even recording. So I gave y'all the best that I could. If I left anything out, let's put it in the comments. Let's discuss. Tell me if you liked it, you didn't like it. You know the routine. What you want to see coming up for this next episode and all that good stuff. Okay, give me a fire emoji. Let me know you stopped by. A wave. Say hey. Whatever. Put it in the comments and like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Till next time, toodaloo.